Welcome to Porch Play Chat, sponsored by the American Association for the Child's Right to Play, or more affectionately called IPA USA. IPA USA is the USA affiliate of the International Play Association. And as part of our efforts to promote play, we've introduced Porch Play Chats, and we are actually in our 4th year. And so if you haven't found them, it's time to go see them because we have about 130 already, and they are free to you. So you can find those if you go to ipausa.org. Up in that top right-hand corner is our Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook links. You can click on the YouTube channel, become a subscriber, click on our Facebook and become a friend, and magically every Monday morning, a new Porch Play Chat will appear. And if you're a subscriber on YouTube, you can also go and find all of our history of the other 126 that you won't have viewed. So we hope you'll do that. I'm Deb Lawrence, and I'm president of IPA USA. And with me on the porch today is Kim Barron. Kim, welcome.
Oh, Kim Adams. Look at my name.
Oh, Kim Adams. See, at Barron Preschool. It's early for her, not for me.
It's okay.
So I don't know. Anyway,
I'd like to change my name, and I don't even know how to do that on here. That's funny.
Okay, got it. Okay,
That's
well,
okay.
I can teach you how to do that later, or I can change it for you.
You can change
Kim holds
it.
a degree in creative arts from San Jose State University in California, and has over 30 years of experience educating, directing, and operating preschools and childcare centers. We are truly, I've been in it since Rod, my oldest, was 6 months old, and he'll be 44 this year. Since 2001, Kim has been the owner of Barron Park Preschool in Palo Alto, California, which is why I got her name on. Kim's a play advocate, educator, speaker, and certified positive discipline parent and classroom educator. And she enjoys leading workshops, staff development seminars, and delivering keynote presentations. Working both in and out of the classroom weekly to hone her skills and inform her own practice. Kim has an in-depth understanding of the ways in which children perceive and interact with their world. She's a champion for keeping play in early learning and uses her experience in education to help educators and administrators tap into their creativity to bring forth inspired, meaningful, play-based, and emergent curriculum. And you can hashtag her at hashtag Play Barron Park. Sounds wonderful. You know, I have never gotten into Twitter. I look at it and I go, I think I'm too old for that.
I don't do much Twitter, mostly Facebook, Instagram, and can you believe it? TikTok now.
Oh my goodness. I know, I have not gotten into TikTok at all. Someone, one of our social media person is thinking, I'm thinking TikTok. And I'm like, you know, if you know how to do that, awesome. This is wonderful.
It's fun.
So
yeah.
Kim's going to talk to us today about getting messy. It might get messy. And I love that because I don't think unless it's messy, it really isn't playful. So talk to us about why it might get messy.
well, the title is It Might Get Messy, but really it's about supporting creativity and play in early learning and all the ways that can get messy. So what we know about young children and creativity is that they're naturally creative. And there was a really cool study by a researcher named George Land. Are you familiar with him? So he did a study about creativity in I think it was the late 60s. And he studied, built a kind of a creativity test for adults, and it was really successful. And so they gave it to the children. They did and you probably know this, Deb, but maybe other people don't. There was a research study. There was about 1,600 participants and 4 and 5-year-olds, and they gave them this test for creativity. And what they found is that 98% of those children tested at genius level for creativity. And so that was very interesting to them. not super surprising to us because
No.
with the guys we work with, but then they made it a longitudinal study. So 5 years later, they gave that same group of kids that test, and they found that only 30% of them tested at genius level. And then they did it again 5 years later, and they tested those kids. And so 14, 15-year-olds, it was 12%. So the conclusion was that creative behaviors are unlearned rather than learned. Yeah. And we can still learn our creativity. That is actually a newer discovery, but you can learn to be more creative. But why are we squashing it out of them in the first place is kind of the message I'm curious about. More recently.
I think most importantly is how are we doing it, right?
Yeah.
You know, Sir Ken Robinson has that wonderful, very animated video on YouTube. You should go watch it if you haven't. And he talks about this study, and you know, people go, "Oh, that's just not possible." And I said, "Well, obviously, it is possible because here's the research behind it." So, how do we need to preserve that creative spirit in young children?
The short answer is we need to let them play. That's the short answer. We need to let them play. We need to let them direct their own discovery, their own learning, and we need to be there to support them. We have seen a lot of negative outcomes just across the board: depression, anxiety, childhood obesity, but creativity is actually also declining. Not only these other things, but there's another researcher named Kung-hee Kim, and she has been using what is now the gold standard of creativity test called the Torrance test for creativity. I don't know if you've heard of that. And so she did a study with kindergarten through 12th grade students, and it was pre-pandemic, but not a relatively recent study. And what she found is that children's tests on that Torrance, results on that Torrance test, they've declined more than a full standard deviation in a generation. So 85% of today's children are less creative than their 1980s counterparts. And we know what's happened since the 1980s, right? She links it to insufficient time for free play and unstructured time to just be kids and be creative. There's other things that have happened, in that time frame as well. The internet, the use of, technology. But the most critical thing is that kids aren't being allowed to play. And that's where I feel like it does get messy. So we can provide all kinds of academic activities, structured activities, teacher-led activities, but we're definitely not going to meet the kids' need. And just we're just built this way. We're just built this way. We are hardwired physiologically to play. And when we don't play, we're seeing all these negative outcomes. And so my concern, I'm focusing more on creativity because that's kind of the passion for me. And I do think that there's a bit of, just like there's kind of a bit of a misunderstanding maybe of what play-based means.
Oh, yes.
I think
20 people, you'll get 20 different answers.
You'll get
right?
20 different answers. I think creative activities fall in that category too, or art projects or whatever. And I just challenge y'all, Google preschool art project ideas or toddler art project ideas and see what you will see on just a quick Google search, Pinterest and whatever. It's all this teacher-led. Everything looks the same, and it doesn't need to be that way. And it does in fact require the adults to be a little uncomfortable to allow children to explore in ways that that they need to. And so one of the ways it gets messy is that grownups need to be okay with creative behaviors. And we all say we want to have kids to be creative. But when we look at what are some of those creative behaviors, they're challenging behaviors. And we even see workshops about how to manage these, these behaviors. And
and there are also many cases leadership behaviors, right? So, those creative behaviors and leadership and initiative and innovation and all of those things are, and we're trying to suppress them. And then we wonder why we don't have leaders out
That's
there.
right.
Because we're squishing it like we're squishing creativity.
Yeah.
So other than the ones I just named, can you describe some of those creative behaviors so people can feel comfortable with, oh, that's just a creative behavior, not a challenging behavior?
Yeah. So adventurous is one. Mm-hmm. Imaginative is one, but so is feels emotions strongly. Mm-hmm. Okay. And we all know what that's like to deal with it. That's called a tantrum. Those are those are the kids who are feeling emotions strongly. Unwilling to accept mere say so. Uh-huh. And that's tricky in the classroom. Independent judgment. Mm-hmm. That's tricky in the classroom. Mm-hmm. Asking a lot of questions, attempting difficult tasks, which is great. Sense of humor, which we all appreciate until we tell the kids it's not time to be silly. It's not time to be silly. Time to stop being silly. We need focus.
Focus over here, whether you're interested or not. Focus over here.
Willing to take risks. And intuitive guessing and hypothesizing. These are all creative behaviors that humans have and children have. But when they show up, it becomes a challenge for the grown-ups. So I'll give you an example. I had a little guy in our program, and he was like one of the most creative kids I have ever experienced. And his play was going around and grabbing things from all the areas and just making piles of all of the stuff. And, you know, we have our classrooms set up in ways that everybody can learn and explore, but we also put a lot of intention into them looking nice, aesthetically pleasing. But when this guy was around, man, it was just everything got dumped. I'd set out, beautiful open-ended art projects, and all of the things would be, available to the kids. And this guy would just grab all the things and combine them and dump them into one thing. And it used to drive me nuts. Like, I'm like, no one else can have fun because this guy is taking all the things. And I would get hooked by that behavior. And it was very frustrating for me until I learned this. And now I can go, oh, he's just being creative. And just that one little switch in my mind helps me to not be upset with this kid, to not get so frustrated with this kid, and to find ways to give him what he needs and provide what the other kids need as well. And he has, he's probably, a 7 or 8 year old, but he continues to, I'm in contact with him. He's a very, very creative kid. And I'm so thankful that his parents and hopefully his other teachers moving forward haven't squashed this out of him.
Squashed it. And you raised such a great point. We have great intentions about the way we arrange an environment and we equip an environment. But children don't see those boundaries like we see them. And we do stifle their creativity when they want to take something from dramatic play and put it in the sensory table. Oh, no, that's not where that goes.
How dare they?
Put that back. It's like, oh, stop. They're not seeing what we see, right? They're just seeing materials, and they're finding new ways to work with them in different places in the classroom. Please let them be. And, you can teach responsibility and say, oh, I see what you did. Wonderful. That sounds great. Just stick it back in dramatic play when you're done. Right. Yeah. So it doesn't have to be, and that's where I think we take, I want us to take ownership of the classroom, but I don't want us to be dictators.
No,
right.
No. Yeah. Yeah. We talk about, do you want to be a boss or do you want to be a guide?
Yes.
Okay. And so the boss is just telling people what to do. And if you don't do it right, you're going to lose your job, right? You're not going to get paid. You're a boss. But a guide is that person who knows where we're going. They are there to keep the group safe, but they're a fellow explorer, right? Yeah. And so that if we can kind of take that mindset in the classroom, it's messier. another way it gets messy, right? Like, because if I'm in control, I have, everything. But if everybody is in control of themselves and I'm there to sort of keep everyone safe, it's not going to be as tidy of an experience as maybe, our imagined what a teacher looks like role, right?
Well, and I think as directors, because I was a director for 13 and a half
Yeah.
years, I remember, regional directors walking in the door saying, why does the 4-year-old room look like it hasn't been cleaned up in 2 hours? And I said, because children are playing.
That's right. That's right.
And they would say, well, if parents come on a tour, it needs to look. I said, no, it doesn't. Children are playing.
Right. Right.
And so we have to, what's more important? You have a wonderful opportunity to talk to a parent about why the room doesn't look perfect.
Absolutely.
And what's happening. Look at the language development, look at their social and emotional interactions, look at their cognitive skills, so it's a learning opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah. And we need to get good at explaining it, I think, is the thing. I find that the families in our preschool, they really respect the teachers as experts. And they know what they're getting, they know what they're signing up for. They definitely know that this place, their kids are going to get dirty, like paint, dirt, mud, water. They're going to get messy for real. And the environment it's going to look like, it's going to be loud. Sometimes that's another messy, like it's going to be, maybe it might look chaotic, but if you look closely, like you said, it's a wonderful opportunity to really hone in. And I think as educators, early educators specifically, one of the main things we need to do is get very good at explaining what is happening when these kids are playing. Yes. And I know we've kind of gone back and forth defending play and supporting play and advocating for play. And I think we're kind of back in defending play mode.
We are.
And I think we do this by really knowing what's happening when these kids are playing and being able to describe it and make the learning and development visible to the grownups. And then it doesn't, it's not Lord of the Flies. I mean, it looks crazy, but if we're doing, I really love Edith Dowley, the founder of Bing Preschool and Research Lab at Stanford. She had 3 defining features of a play-based early childhood program, and they were freedom of movement, freedom of time, and freedom of choice. And if those 3 things weren't there, it's not really play-based. And I have really taken that one to heart. And so when we talk about freedom of movement, we're talking about what we were talking about when things get messy, why would you, I mean, of course you're going to go to the sensory table with your dramatic, like you got to cook stuff. Like, yeah,
exactly. That's what they're for.
And also movement, like indoors and outdoors, if you can, movement, their bodies moving in the ways that children's bodies are meant to move. They need to spin. They need to be upside down. They need to be climbing. They need, and that's messy too. And risky play, you can be too careful. You absolutely can be too careful.
So
and it's
careful.
It is another way that it's all these ways are ways it gets messy. It's not just stuff, and it's not just paint, and it's not just dirt. It's like psychological messes. It's your curriculum plan is going to get messed up. You know what I mean? Like there's time that this freedom of movement, freedom of choice, freedom of time. If we have freedom of time, then that means there's long blocks of uninterrupted time for play. And we are not, and I encourage people that I talk to look at your schedule, and anything that has the word time after it, question it. You know, do you need center time, circle time, nap time, story time, whatever, all this, find the ones that you can just kind of have the umbrella be play. And we revamped our schedule 10 years ago, and our schedule, it's a full day program, and it goes play. We start at 7:45 play. We have a group time. We have lunch, story, and nap. Those kind of go together. And then we have play again. And that's our schedule. Yeah. Do the kids get snack? Yeah, they get snack, but we don't stop them.
Ooh,
We don't stop. Snack is available. Come on over when you want.
yeah, when you're
You know?
when you're hungry, come on
Yeah.
over.
Do they ever want to sit down with the teacher and do an activity? Absolutely, but it's their choice.
Yes.
It's their choice. And so if we have something set up and do we teach skills? Yeah, we teach skills. In order for things to get messy, especially artwork, you need to know how to use the tools, right?
Mhm.
So we'll teach scissors, we'll help with that. We'll do a lot of practicing, but Deb, at our preschool, we have 2 to 5-year-olds mixed age. So
Oh,
everybody's
wonderful.
together.
Mhm.
We let them use glue guns.
Great.
Cool melt, hot glue guns, right?
Yeah.
There is an element of you need to know how to use this tool,
Mhm.
but we trust them to use it. And I guess that's the other underlying piece that I think always needs to be said. The only way we can do any of this stuff is if we have good relationship. Like, we have to know these kids and they have to know, we have to trust them.
Mhm.
And they need to trust us. And same with families. We need to trust them and they need to trust us. And I think the hardest one is parents trusting their kids, to be honest.
Well, because they've been raised in this,
Yeah.
oh, it's so dangerous. Oh, you have to be careful. Oh, we have to wrap them in bubble wrap.
That's true.
I mean,
That's true.
that's what those parents went through, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's shifting away from what we know doesn't work based on the research.
Yeah.
And reframing what safety looks like and what's the
Yeah.
difference. Rusty Keeler talks about the difference
Mm.
between it being a hazard
Yeah.
and it being safe, right? So,
Yeah.
we certainly don't want children to have nails sticking up on a playground equipment.
No. Yeah.
If you're in the city, we don't want, needles on the
Sure.
ground, right? And
Yeah,
I've
it
had
doesn't have to
programs-
be just the city.
Right, that's true. And I've had programs that have to
Yeah.
take a metal detector out onto their playground
Yeah.
every morning. There's a teacher in charge of the metal detector, and that's
Isn't
one
that
of the very
crazy?
first things they do in the morning.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
so that is being cautious and protecting
Yes.
children, right?
Yeah.
But we're so overprotective.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the toddler room, because I teach, future teachers. And so
Okay.
we talk about what's the difference between being too safe and preventing a hazard. And they're like, well, we can't let them fall. And I said, they don't fall very far.
They have to fall.
They need to learn to fall and get up, right?
You're right.
Certainly we don't want them climbing on top of a table and rolling off, right? Okay, so could they go on the upside down boat
Yeah.
and without you freaking out?
Yeah.
So, that whole piece of we don't want them to fall because they might get a bruise. I said, do you know how chubby babies are?
Yeah.
They don't bruise that easily. And if parents trust you and you say so-and-so was being adventurous today, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
We're right there. Then that's helpful. But I really like if we, and Bev Boz always said, trust children, right? They know what they need.
Yep.
And so in order to be good co-constructors, facilitators, guides, we really have to understand what's happening developmentally. So
for sure. I've been to preschools where they don't let the kids run
on the playground
because they could bump into somebody and they could get hurt. And it's, when we do our beginning of the year family orientation, we let the families know that if they are not getting boo-boos, little small bruises, scrapes, that sort of thing, they're probably not playing.
Right.
So these are a natural outcome of play. We don't want broken bones. We don't want people's heads hit. There are definitely things like the hazards are taken out. But the preschool that I own, we let them climb a tree, we let them be barefoot because that's what their bodies need. And if you're going to climb a tree, you probably should be barefoot. It's safer.
Please.
Right?
Absolutely.
It's
I remember.
safer. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
And
I
so
think the other piece is if we just, and I try to help my students understand this, if you wrap them in bubble wrap and they don't have that opportunity to take risks
yeah,
when they're little,
right.
and they don't fall very far, or they learn how to get themselves back up, or they understand where their body is in space. If we don't give them those learning opportunities, they're going to take risks when they're older, when it can have pretty negative consequences.
Oh, yeah. Terrifying. And what is Angela Hanscom's Barefoot and Balance? Kids are falling out of their chairs in second grade.
Yeah.
Because they haven't integrated those senses. And the way we do that is through that big body play that looks risky. I mean, it looks risky, but the kids won't.
We climb trees. What happened, right? I remember we had huge pecan trees in my yard. We were on 5 acres and we had huge pecan trees. And I climbed those bad boys. And I would get to a spot, on a day, and I go, "Ooh, I think I'm too high. I need to go down." But that's that internal sort of perception of when you've gone too high or you're running too fast or something, right?
Right.
It's not it, and it's learned because you need to know where your body is and what you're capable of.
Right. That's right.
So it becomes this challenge, I think, for us who are afraid of lawsuits and afraid of all of these things, that we have to recognize that we're harming children's development instead of promoting children's development. We need to find a balance for us.
Yep. Yeah. I'm not wanting people to take unnecessary risks with children.
No.
And I'm wanting children to get their needs met. So it becomes just another one of the ways that that we have to. It's like the parent coming into the environment and seeing it all messy and things mixed up and kids really playing. It's just another piece of us getting good at being able to explain why they need this stuff. Right.
And it's not just because the children like it. Stop that. Please stop that. Tell them what's happening developmentally.
That's right.
And why you made that, you offered that material as a choice.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh my. Yeah. So I'm going to, if it's okay with you, as we close up, I'm going to give them the Barron Preschool website as well as the hashtag. Is that okay?
Oh, yeah.
So that they can go in there. Kim,
this
has been amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been lovely.
It was so great to see you at our conference too.
Oh my gosh. I just a plug for IPA USA. I found my people there. Yeah, it was, I've been to a lot of conferences. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, and it was so refreshing to find the people that, I don't know, that understand play as being like what's critical. Obviously, it's the Play Association. And I think it's also the type of people who believe this are just fun.
We're happy people.
Fun and happy and yet serious and smart, thoughtful. I was delighted. The conference was amazing. So I will come again. I think it's
2024. So be watching.
So
and you're going to World, right? You're going to Scotland.
My hope is to go to World. I'm going to have to do some fundraising, I think, but I have a proposal accepted to do a workshop on, it might get messy. So supporting creativity with play. And so I'm hoping, I think so.
If you think you found your peeps at IPA USA, wait till you go to IPA World.
I'm excited.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to close this up. Hang in there. So
Okay.
to learn more information about IPA USA, please visit our website at ipausa.org. And I forgot to tell you, if you want to see all of the Porch Play Chats, you go under the Advocacy tab and then Porch Play Chats, and you'll see 2020, 2021, 2022, and what we've got so far in 2023. And you can go and watch all those for free. Lots of people are using them as conversation starters at staff meetings. College professors are using them in the classroom to hone in on a topic. So please, that's another way to find us. And so until next time, keep on playing.